along the way, but you did a lot of stunts and ridden around Hollywood a long time. Great guy, and really, if stay tuned, we'll get him on again and get some more stories out of him. Thank you, Johnny.
Okay.
Thank you,
You're
buddy.
welcome. Thank you.
Well, I'm here with one of my childhood friends from Disney days and growing up, and we go back a long ways. Now, last year you saw Paul on the show, Paul Peterson, always from Donna Reed's show, and we talked about the old days on that show.
Right.
What I really like to talk to you about today, Paul founded Minor Consideration, a foundation for actors, and I'd like you to talk about that and what it is and what you're doing today with it.
All right. Well, when we started 8 years ago, it was primarily to intervene in people's lives and rescue them, former kid stars mainly down on their luck.
Right.
But as you know, man, the task has grown so large because suddenly now, because of our growth, we're involved with the nuts and bolts of the industry with today's kid actors, trying to prevent the problems before they occur.
And legislation.
And legislation. We passed 2 laws in the California legislature. I'm after national legislation for things like the kid actors are exempt from federal child labor laws, which is absurd.
Right.
Well, we're going to fix that. But there's more to this. Funding the interventions and rehabs has become really quite an enterprise. In fact, we're engaged in a lot of fundraising efforts now. And it's fun to see a group that started with just really my wife and myself on a Wednesday morning is now 400 former kid stars. And we're everywhere. I mean, we're really engaged. The new products out, and a lot of the people here, of course, belong.
Right. Let's talk about some of the people that you've helped out.
Well, I'll talk about the ones that we can talk about.
Yeah.
Danny Bonaducci, Todd Bridges, Lisa Loring, Butch Patrick, Gary Coleman, Jay North. We are pretty Darby Hinton, the people that whose stories are already public. There's a bunch more.
And about half of them been on our show.
Well, that's excellent. I think. See, the thing is, once we figured out that we're a group, we're a group.
Yeah.
And that we're not, the things that happened to us weren't unique. We had then a built-in sort of support system, emotional support system.
Right.
And then beyond that, now we have bodies to do the work. So we can have a Mary McDonough from the Waltons and Jeannie Russell from Dennis the Menace do the transition work for young adolescent females who have a very difficult time in this industry going from, pre-adolescent girls into Hollywood starlets.
Right.
So Jeannie and Mary can concentrate on that. I can concentrate on legislation. We can have people like John Walmsley and, I'm going to forget his name, help with the finances so we get things going straight. Oh, I can't remember the kids now. Well, that's my fault.
Well, why don't you show us your calling card idea? I love this.
Yes, well, we've tried to find a way to increase our funding.
Let's put it right to the camera.
And this is a telephone calling card. They're celebrity-oriented. We have, these just came out. There's 6 cards. It has built-in phone charges. It has its own worth. But then it has a lot of things here on the back. You can get fax messages, long-distance calls, celebrity products and endorsements, and private messages from us on this service.
Let's show this one.
Sure.
I liked him when he was younger, didn't you? Actually, I liked his co-star.
Shelley Favre. You see.
Anytime, guys.
Jeremy Leck. That's the name I couldn't think. Jeremy's also a financial advisor.
Let's go back to Shelley.
If I only knew then what this guy knows now, life would have been a lot better.
Yes, but you know something? No matter what you went through, you turn it into a positive and look at all the other people you're helping.
Well, I hope so. People have to understand there's 30,000 kids every year work in the entertainment business.
Right.
And there's another 3 million kids in organized sports and virtually no rules, and no guidelines. So, if something's wrong, why not fix it?
You got it.
I don't want to whine about it. I want to fix it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Peterson, guy goes back with my family a lot of years. A lot of fun. The best to your wife.
Thank you, Mike.
And we'll have a good time. And I'm glad you got to hear the story today. You'll hear more about this. We'll get together with you. Okay. And let's see if we can publicize one of your events when we'll go there.
Outstanding. Anytime.
You got it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, this is a great treat for me because this one particular show starred Brian Keith, who was a great friend of mine. And we lost Brian last year. And now we have 2 of the 3 kids on the show with him. Is it?
Right.
Yes. Kathy Garver and Johnny Whitaker. Guys, tell me about making that particular series, Family Affair.
Well, we had a very unusual schedule, and Don Peterson, who was the producer of the show, had this fabulous idea, and that was to take movie stars and induce them to do television shows by offering them a contract where they'd only shoot 29 days, and then they'd be free to go off and do whatever else they wanted to do. So the way that a small child, like a 6-year-old, and his cohort and I would all work, we would be shooting scenes from 4 different shows in one day. Brian would leave and then would pick up all the rest of our scenes.
Yeah, it was crazy, but I didn't know any different because that's the way that we came in. So
Right,
we
that's
just started doing it and didn't know it. We had Thelma Strom, who was our wardrobe person, who took pictures of us, making sure that all of the wardrobe that we had on was good and matched for the next scene or whatever was going on. So they did all the hard work. All we had to do was remember the lines and talk to the,
Now, tell me about working with Brian Keith.
Wonderful guy. I mean, myself, being 6 till I was 11,
Right.
Anissa Jones and I mean, he would pick the two of us up and run us onto the set, like torpedoes,
Right.
and play with us and had a great time. Wonderful guy, super loving and really honest and real and true. I mean, whenever he gave us a hug or
Right.
on the set, it was the same feeling when we were on the screen. It was he didn't make any effort to change anything about him just to be on the screen. He was the same way off as he was on.
I think it was one thing that people remember in Hollywood of Brian Keith. He was a great family man, loved his family.
Very much.
He did very much, and all of his warmth came through, I think, to our show, and I think that's one of the reasons it made it such a success, because everybody really cared, and I think each one of the particular people that were cast had a good heart, and they were able to express that.
Right, you projected it on the screen very well.
Yeah.
Kathy and I are born on the same day.
December 13th, 19... For me. that was a real big Brian thing. Brian, especially if he didn't like a line, it said, "And Jody insists on it," and that became like a trademark of one of his wonderful techniques.
What happened for you afterwards when you left that series?
When I left that series, I went on to England, and I went to RADA, which is the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, and then I went to Israel, and this was very interesting. They did a musical stage presentation of Family Affair, and with all of the characters, and I had to learn Hebrew, Ani Habata Rishona, and then I've done plays and theater. I do a lot of books on tape. I'm about to do Sheer Madness, the play in San Francisco, and we have new phone cards that when everything you want to know, you just dial the phone cards and you pick up on what Johnny's doing and what I'm doing.
Now, Paul Peterson's got you doing all these cards, isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Paul's great.
We got to get Paul in this no matter what he's doing.
Paul is wonderful.
Now, John, how about you? What did happen for you afterwards?
Well, I was really lucky because my agent, Mary Grady, who was my agent at the time, had me do a lot of things while I was doing Family Affair. I did the Green Acres and Bewitched and lots of stuff. And it was just opportunity for me to do Tom Sawyer, the film, and then I did a series called Sigmund and the Sea Monster, which kids from about 25 to 35 remember. And lots of fun doing all that.
You got it. Guys from Family Affair, you got them both here. Love spending some time with you all. We'll spend a little time next time, and part 2 will be coming up after this. I'm lucky enough to be here with one of the truly greats of early television. 50-year anniversary of television this year. You've been there for every bit of it.
Well,
Eady
not
Adams.
quite 50, but I'm getting there.
You're
I'm
getting there.
I started in 1951.
Good year. Good year. I know that year well. I was born that year. I don't want to say that, Eady. We were talking a little earlier. With all the cigar craze, you could have been the person who started that. Do you realize that?
Do you know when they first asked me to do this, they were into commercials for actors.
Right.
And my agent said no, and I said, wait a minute, I'm going to be there with my hair done, dressed beautifully, and they're going to say, and here she is, Eady Adams, at every sporting event.
Right.
I said, guys, I should pay them. And they went from $44 million a year, or from $4 million to 44. So we were doing something.
You were doing something right.
Doing something right.
How long did that run last?
18 years.
My Lord, imagine being a spokesman 18 years.
Yep.
In those days, imagine if it was like now, when you would get residuals over and over for years and years to come.
Oh, they were very good to me.
They were great.
They paid me on a contract that lasted till 1994.
Wow.
So I was very happy with it.
Now, you had a little comedian you used to hang around with every once in a while, too. Ernie.
You mean this guy?
That guy right there.
You see him, you used to see this picture on the Conan O'Brien show all the time, right behind everybody. Anyway, no, that was Kovacs, crazy, mad Kovacs. I loved his kind of humor. And
Life with Ernie.
I would like to see a lot more of that kind of non-joke humor.
Right.
It's really out there. We just gave the Kovacs Award for ingenuity to Terry Gilliam.
Oh, okay.
That was at the Dallas Video Festival.
Right.
And Robert Smigel, who does those wonderful cartoons on Saturday Night Live with the Dead President. He's so funny. That's Kovacs humor. That's very
Kovacs, I kind of convert him with the great Jackie Gleason also, where they can
They
mime.
were good buddies.
Mime.
I have film of them on a golf game with a golf cart chase. I love it. I love it. I love Jackie very much. He liked to eat a lot.
No, of course he did. We were with some of the Friars last couple of days. We were doing shows together. I'll give you some names and tell you who I was with, and I'll get a reaction from you. Jack Carter.
Jack Carter never stops. This man is funny all the time.
Right.
He used to stop at our beach house. He'd say, just passing by, just wondering how you do. I love Jack.
Norm Crosby.
Norm Cosby.
Yeah.
I love all of him. I love him too. He's a good man.
Dave Barry, which is a name that a lot of people don't know, is Tony.
From Vegas.
Right.
Oh, of course. They're doing all these pictures of the Rat Pack. I was there when they were all doing. I know all these guys. They're wonderful.
Sid Caesar.
Sid Caesar. It's in this one, Mad World. I was Caesar's wife.
Right.
In the torn dress, and I think Sid is the most talented genius alive today.
We were there to honor another young guy, Milton Berle.
My first job on television anywhere, he was Mr. Television, and I was Miss Television.
Tuesday nights.
And we were doing a fashion show out in Minneapolis, and he was just going to introduce me. But he introduced me, and I was given the punchline to his jokes that were old then, right? And they'd give it. They said, and I would say the punchline, and the audience would laugh, and then I'd get it, and I'd laugh. So instead of my song was a 3-minute song, we did a 15-minute intro to my song. He said, when I hold your arm, don't move because I'm timing. I said, okay.
Can you imagine being on the road like I was for those guys with 4 days?
So that's the way it was with Mad World. I love it.
You know, it was great. Those of us who are Friars and still know these guys are still going strong. I sat in the car at Milton asking, just throwing out names like I did with you, but people were no longer here. And when I said Ernie Kovacs, I have to tell you, he said, you know, he could just smoke a cigar and make me laugh the way he blew the smoke out. And that was just 2 days ago that he told me that.
That's nice.
Isn't that great?
That's really nice.
That's great. Eady Adams, the woman who made smoking cigars in America fashionable. And Marvin Shankin from the Cigar Aficionado. This is the cover you should have. Thank you, Eady.
Thank you so much.
Oh, one last thing. You want to see and laugh all night? Go out and rent. It's a mad, mad, mad world. There's nothing like it ever been made since. And go rent that movie. You'll just have yourself one heck of an evening. And a little long one, but a heck of an evening.
You're a dear.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week on The Town. Next week, I'll show you another great set of stars, and you'll know you'll be on The Town with Mike Farah.